Nikki did a nice job yesterday. They mentioned about taking the pace early to kind of take it the sting out of some of their legs. So I think they're running on fatigue legs. I think Nikki continues their dominance. Jess Hull also is extremely strong, comes from the 3K, 5K, will be up there as well. I also want to just kind of shout out Heather McLean. I did so a little bit earlier.
Saw her earlier, yep.
I think Heather, is an absolute gamer. She's made teams. She competed very well indoors, fresh off a PR in the mile. I think, although she finished 7th in the 800 yesterday, I wouldn't look too much into that. And I think she rebounds really nicely and squeezes into the top 4, if not top 3.
As we swip through here on the lines, you saw Diribe Welteji, who was 4th at the Olympic Games. Jessica Hall, who was the silver medalist in Paris. Mary Moore is a scratch. Susan Ejore of Kenya, 3:56. She ran at the Paris Olympic Games. So, and we finally come there to lane 2, Nikki Hiltz. And I want to lay out here when they introduce Matoya Gul-Toppin, who is from Jamaica, national record holder at 800 meters, and they like her. Quickly, Matthew, we are closer to 3:49 Faith Kipyegon or 4:08, which is the fastest time ever run on Jamaican soil.
3:49.
No.
No, kidding. Absolutely not.
All right, Steve Cram, 1500, knows his way up top.
Who fancies taking this on? Will anybody want to take it on? Would be a brave, brave athlete who goes to the front right from the beginning. But I do think they are all in such great shape, running well. I'm not sure we want to see them, though. They will run too slow for too long. Hiltz in the front again.
Well, Hiltz can run from the front or from the back, so no surprise to see them out front. Susan Ejore has such strength. She's a sub-15 gal in the 5K. She's got great 800-meter speed. She's running so well in the 1500. Last year, I spoke to her before she went over to Kenya for the Olympic trials, and it was just clicking. Everything is clicking for her, and I really think you should keep your eye on her. She's in those navy shorts with the striped top there in the middle. But Jess Hull, after yesterday, she kind of just came out and she just said, I have been doing so well in my training. She's been based in Phoenix, Arizona, in the States for a little bit, running in that heat. She said the track feels good, the atmosphere feels good, and she was ready to come out here and to run in her event. This is her event. She's the fastest in the field with that 350 PR.
Well, Jess had enough after that very slow first 300 meters and has got this race moving, and I think that suits her better. You can almost see with her stride as well. I don't know if you're looking when they're running slow. She's got that lovely flowing action, and also she works hard to run hard. She likes it. All of her races, she's going to give 100%. Of course, all athletes do, but she's at her best when it's full on. So perhaps no surprise. She was hoping somebody else might take it on, but it's Jess Hull, the Australian, who incidentally will be getting on a flight, I think, later tonight to head back to Australia for the Australian Championships. Yeah. So she has to qualify for the Worlds later this year, despite all of her exploits last season. So they come through with 2 to go, just outside 2 minutes.
Well, with Welteji there in second place, she is the athlete that has such a long list of accolades at the age of 22. She has been so good for so long already, but she's still young. But she is really kind of finding herself in that position that she likes. She's coming off of that silver medal from the World Indoor Championships, where she finished second to the great Zagai. So, I mean, this is just an athlete that I think we all need to know and really watch run, because if you let her stay in the race, I'm talking about Diribe Welteji there in second, she is a threat in that final 150 and 200 meters.
Yeah, she does tend to follow Zagai a lot. I think that probably will put pay to her chances perhaps at the Olympic Games as well. But nonetheless, as you mentioned, she was quite a way behind her teammate in those World Indoors, but it was a very strong run. And she'll be the better for that it was as hard as that. Just threw in a 65 on the previous lap and is trying to make this hard heading into the bell. Only got rid of one, not surprising that Gul-Toppin can't stay with this, but at the bell, the other 6 have all got chances.
Well, Hall looking good here. I mean, she just ran 158 yesterday. Is that speed? Is that race in her legs still? It doesn't look like it. And this is what she needs to do, draw out the kick from the others behind her.
Hull's just got to commit now. She's got to keep the pressure on. Hiltz is just starting to make a move. McLean is there looking for the bit of room down the back straight there, but it's Welteji who comes onto the shoulder of the Australian. Jess Hull decides she wants to hold the curb, holds her off, uses a bit of energy but needs to keep something because Welteji looks comfortable. Ejore moving through nicely as well. Nikki Hiltz a couple of meters adrift, but here the American just closing up to make sure she can try and attack in the home straight. Or they can attack in the home straight. Now we've got Welteji. Jess Hull's perhaps got another gear to go in the home straight. Welteji pulls out. There's a gap on the inside, but nobody's going to fill it. It's going to be Welteji with Ejore moving through for second place. Welteji staying strong to the line. Hiltz finishes quickly, will get ahead of Hull, but Welteji takes the win. 4-4 in the end. That was tough and it was hard last lap. And Hull couldn't hang on. Was the one who was brave enough to take the pace out, perhaps paid for that in the end. But Welteji was always looking comfortable, always looking good, always looked as though when we got to the latter stages would be able to find something a little bit extra, and she did exactly that. And she will end up as the Slam champion. Hiltz, who won the 800, finished quickly, will end up with 18 points and take second place. Budapest in 23, and you just sometimes wonder. I think she's getting her racecraft much better. I sometimes think she gets overshadowed when the likes of Sigai are in the race, and you know, she did it perfectly today. Didn't have to do much except follow Jess and then make the move, but she did it beautifully.
Yeah, and I've really liked how Ejore ran today. She just sat where she needed to be, and she really put it all in. That last 50, she stayed awake, and she kept the pressure on to finish second. That's a big run for her.
And a good payday puts her into third overall. Let's not ignore that. For some of these athletes, you know, Grand Slam is offering a massive opportunity in terms of, and that's, you know, Michael Johnson's goal, was to give people the chance to be rewarded, perhaps in ways they haven't been in the past. So for Welteji, confirmation of the result of the women's 1500 race 2 in the short distance. Welteji coming out on top, 4:4:51. Times aren't important here, it's the points, 12 points.